are going to start with the class objectives, okay guys? So what will be the objectives for this class? First, as always, we are going to have a game plan for it, but we are going to start to creating all the game plugins, okay? What I mean with that, we are going to previously create all the objects that we are going to need for our different systems. So when we access to the systems and when we complete the systems, we won't need to create it again, and we are going to save a lot of time, okay? So at the end of this class, you will have most of the items that we are going to use for all the class, okay? And then we are going to learn how to do how it works. The basics about how it works, the torch or the flashlight system depends on your map. Of course, if you are having a castle that is in medieval times, you will need it's going to be better to have a torch. If you have another kind of map, probably you will like the torch, or you can use a lot of systems, but it's the illumination system that allows you to light up the area where you are moving. And then we are going to set up the order system. So that means that starting now, you will be able to win or lose your game. And after the next classes, we will be able to increase that, okay? To show you that information. So we are going to start with the creatures, okay guys? So first thing first, remember that as always, we are going to have some blocks, okay? So, hi Mini Andy, how are you? And welcome Luna. I see, so that's better. Remember that for this map, what I highly advise you is to have more than one monster. Of course, you can participate just with one monster, but the system that I'm going to teach you supports multiple monsters, so you will be able to have as much monsters as you want. So yeah, that's my advice, okay? So first thing, remember guys that yesterday, or not yesterday, the previous week, I teach you how to do the light blocks, okay? So the illumination blocks that will allow you to improve the illumination of your map. Remember that are those that are a little bit transparent here, like this one, that allow you to create an illumination system and illumination areas, okay? So we are going to start first by creating another block, okay? The block that we are going to create it is just the same that you see for the light small, the light medium, and the light big. But this specific one is going to be for our flashlight, okay? Why? Because what the flashlight do is just while you're moving, it's going to create blocks and make those blocks disappear, okay? So what we are going to do, I need you to go here to add in plugins. You are going to scroll down and select new, okay? In new, you are going to have this interface. You are going to hit create. I don't know why it's not allowing me to click, and you can use whatever block you already have. The important thing is that the model is going to be the air wall. Remember guys, air wall, this one, remember that this model is going to be invisible when you are playing. Rename that block as a torch or flashlight block. Okay. And very important guys, we are going to go to the attributes for this, and we are going to change the blast resistance and the hardness to -1. That is going to avoid your map to be detected by most of the skills and the weapons, as an example, or be destroyed. So we don't want, as an example, if the player is using a bazooka or something like that, that your torch block disappears, okay? So another important thing is the light intensity. It needs to be 15. The burning speed needs to be 0, and the odds burn is going to be 0, okay? Just remove whatever item you have right here. Okay, you don't have to have any item here. Remember, the collision needs to be aired, and broken by projectile needs to be completely removed, okay? That's the first block that we are going to create. We are going to use it later to create our torch system, okay? Once you create that one, we are going to create the generators, okay? So for this is very tricky. Let me show you right here what we got, okay? So we are going to create two different blocks. Okay? So the first block is going to be the fully normal generator. That means that is the generator that is broken. And the second one that we are going to create is the generator fix. As you see, I place in the animation a small screen here that will show the player the information that this generator is damaged. For that reason, you are going to have this small warning signal here, so player will notice by first hand that this generator needs to be fixed. And the second one is just the same model, but without that specific thing, okay? And the different information, oh, we have a subscriber, so thank you Min Loan now to subscribing. Okay guys, so what you are going to do is just the next thing. You are going to create once more a completely new block. Just change the name for the first one to generator damage. So you will notice that is that one. Select the model. One tip that I always going to teach you is that your map needs to have, before you use that model imported into your miniature folder, okay? So if you have any model on here, be sure that you move it first from the library to your model. So as an example, if I'm going to use this specific disk, be sure to hit on Manage, Move, and select your current map before using it. Because, and this is very important guys, if you use a model from here, from your editor, that actually is not already in your map, if you hit this one that says miniature library, you are going to have a lot of errors. Most of the times when you are playing multiplayer, other players won't be able to see that miniature. So be sure that you import before that. So never select the miniatures from here. Remember, always select the miniatures from current map. And on there is supposed to have already existing your specific map, okay? So right now, as you see, I'm just changed the model. In attributes, I don't know why MiniWord is not accepting my mouse information. It's not making click. Just the same as always, blast resistance -1, hardness needs to be -1 too, and also very important, burning speed 0, odds burning 0, and this is something that is going to work very cool. For the light intensity, use for the normal generator 5, for the full repair generator 10. So when the players are completely fixing this block is going to be replaced and it's going to light up, so it's going to seem that the generator gets energy, okay? Now, drop items needs to be completely removed, broken by projectile 2, and the collision needs to be solid. Once you have that one, you are going to create the generator repair it. It's just the same information. You are going to create it. Just put the model of the second generator. Remember to do two models, the model for the first one that is not fixed and for the second that is completely fixed. The information is just the same. The only thing that changed is the light intensity, the name, and the model. And now that you have those two blocks, what you are going to do in your map is just locate those specific generators around the map. What I advise you to do is to place at max 7 generators, because having to fix too much generators is going to be kind of frustrating. What I did is use or position those in every specific room. So in the map we have 7 rooms, so in each room you are going to have a generator, except in this one. Instead of placing that one inside here, I place it outside, okay? Another important thing, you need to make to the players more clear that this is a generator that they need to fix. So a thing that I do for this is place small lights around the generator. You see the light block here. Remember that last class we learned how to do those light systems. And important things, I also place some signs. As an example, this is the generator number 7. And if you move around, you are going to find different generators with different numbers. So it's something that the players will know by first hand that they need to fix. So an example you see here, that is the generator number 5. But very important, another thing that I do is to create those borders. You see guys, these specific lines around the generator. Well, why I do this? Because I want the players to know where they can interact. As you see also in the pipelines, you are going to have just the same indicators but in color red. Okay, so remember, blue is for the humans and red is going to be for the monster. The way you create this specific model is very simple, guys. Okay, let me show you. What I did is just to create a 1 block altitude signal, and how you can do it is just by creating a small miniature. And to make this look like this miniature is just a texture over the floor, what you have to do is the next thing. Just when you already have this line created, just what you are going to do is to move this miniature. Okay, you are going to find something like this when you actually create a miniature. Just reduce this specific one, as you see here, is the y-axis, and just put it one height over the floor, and with that it's going to look like a texture. Okay, that's a trick that we learned in the class about racing maps. Okay. And also, very important, just be sure that it's just matching the corners, okay? So the final result, if you do this, is that you are going to have this specific block, okay? Give me a second, I'm going to put it into the inventory, okay? So as you see, this is a block that is not just a block in the floor, it's just 1 block over it, but yes, this block is completely air, so players are not going to hit with that. It's going to look a little bit different, okay? As you see, if I place the block on here, it's going just to place over and over, okay? It's not the block that is in the floor, it's just over it. But it will look like a texture, so I highly advise you to get those blocks, okay? So what you are going to do is to create 2 textures. Just the same signal or the same indicator in color red and in color blue. And once you have that miniatures, what you are going to do is to create another block. Just use the same setup that we used for the previous one, but we are going to change the name to interaction signal. Of course, you are going to have a red, so change the model for the one that you have in current map. Remember that you need to import before using the miniatures to your map. So I have the red model here, the one that I just showed you, and their attributes are going to be just the same that we used before. The light intensity is going to be 5, and the collision is going to be air. And that's it. You are going to create one for the blue color, and you are going to create another for the red one, okay? So right now, remember guys that we already have the different, all the blocks from here to here, okay? Including the art blocks, the generators, the flashlight, and the interaction signals. If you want to create a specific block to your store, if you have a store, I create a specific block to buy items. I use this one that I create a small animation. It's a small button in the air, and also it has a lock just to show the players that they can unlock that. So if you want to do it, just go ahead. It's just the same setup that we see with a solid block and 5 of light, okay? Remember, hardness needs to be -1 and -1, okay? Okay, so about the Squid Game, just doing a pause while we continue. Squid Game is actually a very good series. I know that it's a little bit bloody, but it's really interesting. I really like it. What I think about gaming in a Squid Game is that I see a lot of maps in Multiverse that actually are not the best maps. Most of them are just using the aesthetics from the Squid Game, but they are very bad. Actually, you are not playing the Squid Game, you are playing whatever, but very bad maps with aesthetics with the Squid Game. As an example, I see one that was like a normal PvP map, but completely normal. You actually have like a lot of monsters in the area and you have to kill the monsters, no gameplay on it, and you get like advertising every 5 seconds, and that map gets a lot of notes and it was very uncomfortable to play, so I didn't advise you to get or to do that, okay? Now, very important, now that we have the props, we are going to go to create our creatures, okay? So let me teach you the small tricks that we are going to have here, okay? First, we are going to create our monsters plugins and our pliers plugins, okay? So remember that in the map we have like 3 different teams. We have the red team, that is the monsters, we have the blue team, that are the pliers, and the green team, that are the victims. So those are going to be the creatures that we are going to create at first. Remember this, guys, as we are going to change like how the monsters, how the pliers, and how everything looks, we are not going to use like normal plugins. We need to create first the monster, okay? So how you are going to do this? We cannot create, and remember, we are not going to do this. You are not going to hit create. Instead of that, to create the models or how your pliers are going to look, and to avoid a lot of bugs, because I know right now by just placing some specific features in MiniWorld sometimes doesn't load by a bug. So we are going to hit edit, okay? When you hit edit, we are going to create 2 different kind of monsters. So if you are going to create a model for a plier, a human plier, as an example, the victim or the normal plier, you are going to hit animals. If you are going to create monster, as an example, in my case, the Fiend or the Phantom or the Horse Robot or the Spider, you are going to use the monsters, okay? So as we are going to start with the pliers, the first one that I started with, it was the normal plier. And for this, I modified the penguin, okay? So just go ahead, remember, you are going to hit add and edit, not, you are going to not, and I'm going to be very specific with this, you are going to no, don't create here. You have to hit edit and just select the penguin. It's going to be the easier one to detect. And once you do that, you are going to have an interface, okay? So what I did is just to change the name for the plier, for the mob to plier. Remember that this needs to be hidden. You are going to choose your specific model. Once more, guys, once more, you will have different options here. If you are going to use a custom miniature, remember to import it first into your map to avoid errors, and select the one that you have in current map. Never, ever select those, because those that from the miniature library directly are going to have some errors in most of the maps, okay? Also, as you notice, I have a custom model here. You can create in do it by yourself avatar, you can create your own model with colors and everything, okay? So for the attributes, it doesn't really matter, just choose whatever you want it on there. Okay, as you see, I didn't change that because we are not going to use them up. We are going to use only the static for the mob. So just change the static and the name. The other things doesn't matter unless you are going to place those monsters or those mobs into the scenario, okay? Guys, very cool reminder that I always do to you is, guys, remember this is going to be one of the most important things when you are creating a mob. Where it says attribute and basic attributes and creature type, you are going to have 2 options, monsters and animals, guys, okay? Why is important is, if you select monsters and you create a monster by triggers or by scripts, it's going to disappear if there is no player around an area of 32 blocks, okay? So that means that if you select monster, probably, and you have an important mob as an example, a mob that you create by triggers that you need to complete a task with, if you select monsters, probably when you get away from it, it's going to disappear, so you won't be able to complete them up. So if you want the monster, the mob, to be in the area and keep not deleted by the system when you get far away from that, remember to select animals, okay? Whenever you select animals, your monster or whatever creature you put on is not going to disappear. This is useful because, as an example, you can place some monsters in some specific point that you don't want to get some memory. So whenever the players get away from that area, it's going to clean those monsters. So select monsters. If you want something that is going to be permanent in your map, just select animals, okay? That's the trick, something that I want to teach you. Now that we already have our first creature, we are going just to do the same. We are going to add a new, but we are going to hit on here on edit. Remember, never place create, okay? And you are going to select edit, okay guys? Once you select edit, what you are going to do is to create the second creature. That is going to be the victim, okay? Okay, I'm on the wrong screen here. So, for the victim, I actually use the chicken, and I want you to notice this, okay? Probably, and this is also another error that you are going to notice when you are actually creating different do-it-by-yourself skins here on this screen, okay? And it's that the colors on the actual cloth are not going to be the same that in the final game. But notice this, the model that I use for the player is the same that I use for the victim, the only difference is the head, okay? So, in the case of the victim, for the players to know that this player has been already captured, I just place the same model, but I change the eyes and the face, so it's going to have a lot of bandage, like it has been hurt. And also, another important thing about this is that the cloth is going to be a little bit red, okay? It's not going to look on here that way, but if I enter the map, I'm going to show you very quickly the final models. Just give me a second, I need to find the way to exit from here. Let me go just over this part and let me show you very quickly the models, okay? Let me put the plugin here and tools, let's go to creatures, and in creatures I will have this, okay, it's this one. Okay, if I place the monster here and I put some lights on, of course, because with this you are not going to be able to see the monster actually completely. You're going to see that the clothes are a little bit redder, or yeah, they're actually completely more red than the normal monster that is going to be, sorry, the normal monster, no, the player that is going to be the penguin here, okay? Let me change that very quickly and let me show you. Okay, so if you see it, if you notice the difference, it's not too much. But remember that by nature, by culture, in all the games, all the things that are red are things like are going to be hurt. So that's something that I highly advise you to do, okay? So that is a quick trick that we can use about the monsters. Okay, so now let's continue with the objects for the class, and I see that Clea, it's telling me that actually he checked the show today, and yeah, you already finished that. Who from here has already finished the Squid Games? Okay guys, so that's going to be for the base for our creatures, okay, our players. Remember, one player and one victim. Now we are going to move to the monsters, okay? So if you notice here, if you notice in my mini world, we have like different colors, right? If you see, there is a yellow color for the event box, that is the one that provides you codes inside the game that you can claim, and the generators, but also it's going to have white for all the other monsters and also for the players. So remember, whenever you see a white here, a white frame means that is something that has been edited, an original creature from MiniWorld. Whenever you see a yellow, means that is a completely new plugin. So as you notice, my monsters that are going to be the Boreman, the Spiritual, and the Phantom that is going to be the child are just going to be monsters edited, okay? So remember, we need to do the same, just hit new, don't, and I do again this, don't hit on here, just hit on edit, that's very important, guys. And you are going to edit the monsters from here. So as an example, for my fiend, I use the Boardman. For the Phantom, I use the Jockey. For the other one that is going to be the Horsebot, I use the Spirit Bowling, and for the Spider, I use the Spider, okay? So once you select any of those monsters, let me show you. What I did is just to change the model, okay? And I need you to look something. If you see, the model that I use here has a face. The model that ends in the game doesn't have a face, okay? So that's why it's also important, if you modify the skin here, you will be able to see it when you are in game, not completely from here, okay? From the attributes, guys, as always, as this is not going to be a monster that is going to be spawning to the game, it's just something that I use for changing the models. It doesn't matter here, so I put in monsters, the creature type, and I really don't change anything here, okay? That's the trick. Just change the name and change the appearance for the monsters. Select your monsters, okay? So remember, I create that for these monsters. I have up to 4 different monsters here. And actually for this game, I don't use miniatures for the monsters. I use just custom models. Okay, so remember, guys, you are going to create or edit a monster per each one that you are going to do in game, okay? Once you have that, we are going to move to props, okay? So very important, guys, mobs or props that I always ask you to do is the money and the store and the depth store for your map. Those are always the first mobs that, or the first plugins that you have to do. So to create a coin, once more, you just need to access here, hit create, and hit create a new one. You are going to select MISC, okay? So when you have a MISC item created, you are going to change the name. You can put it credits, money, or wherever you want to place under. But remember that you can place an internal store with this. You can do a lot of things with this for the system that I teach you how to do, that is the store system, okay? Remember, if you don't know how to do it, remember to check the last class. In the class number 6, I teach you how to do all kinds of stores, even using the code. If you realize, and let me show you this very quickly, if you realize whenever you are playing my maps, you are going to have this menu open, and if you have, of course, some coins on your hand that you can use at the beginning, it's going to show you the different items that you can get with those coins, okay? And remember that in your inventory also you are going to have an item that allows you to open that store. So if you want to check that, remember those to check the last class, a PvP MiniCamp on the class number 6. We learned how to do that, okay? So once you have the information for your credits, that you are going to place the name wherever you want and a clear description, remember with this button, if you have the translation activated, you will be able to translate this to another language. Once more, if you want to learn how to translate your items and all your game, just check the last MiniCamp classes, okay? Now, for the attribute, you are going to move the stack number to 99. If you want to create coins that have, as an example, 1000, or on that you can have more than 99 coins in your inventory, just check also the MiniCamp about creating a school simulator in the class number 4, okay? Now, for skills and everything, you are going to keep clean that. You are not going to add any skill, and you are going to have already your first coin. For your dev store, and for your store, those items, I highly advise you to create your own frame or your own icon for the store items. And what you have to do is just do the same, okay? It's a MISC item, just like you create your store. The only difference is that you are going to add a new buff. So remember, to add a buff here, just hit on adding an effect, select buff, and you are going to select any buff. As always, I always advise you to create also a custom buff that is named buff that doesn't do anything but allows you to use items, okay? And remember, the setup is the next one. You keep everything like it is except this one that says skill type. You are going to select no target, non-charge mode, cooldown is going to be at max 5 seconds, and you are going to keep the other things like they are, okay? So with this, you are going to have an item in the hand that you can use, but actually it's not going to do anything. It's just going to allow you to detect this item by triggers. Let me put on here very quickly and specific all those items, so you will be able to see how they work and what they do, because I know that most of you already know how they work, but a lot of you also are new, so I just want to show you that, okay? So let me put those items here. Okay. So when I pass to normal player, I will be able to use it. So once more, right now, we create like 3 different items. So the first one is the coin, the second one is the shop, and the third one is the dev shop, okay? So the first one is not going to do anything. It's just going to allow me to expand the coins into the normal store. As you see, you can open this store, it's very helpful. You can do a lot of things with it, and you always will have your shop in the hand. The second one is the dev store, and this will allow you to open the dev store, so you will be able to just monetize your game, okay? Now, goodbye, Joseph. I hope you have an excellent day. I know that there is 7 a.m. in your end, so I hope you have a very good game, a very good day. Okay, so guys, now you already have those 2 items here, okay? The credits and the store. For the desktop, just play the same, but remember to have your own custom icon for this one. And something important is that I use custom colors. As you see here, this color is a little bit more highlighted than this one and has a start, so it makes the item looks a little bit premium. And the setup is just the same for the other one from the normal store, okay? So right now we have 3 items. That is going to be the credits, the dev store, and the store. Now, another important thing that we are going to create, and that is a system item, is the flashlight, okay? So the flashlight is going to be, again, once more, it's going to be just a normal item. So remember, you are just going to hit on props, you are going to hit add, you are going to hit new, you are going to hit create, and on there you are going to create another misc item, okay? So once you have it, I highly advise you to put a color on it. I put the color green, so players are going to notice that it's a special item, and a small description for it. Very important, guys. I know that probably you will like to do your own flashlight. In my case, I just download once more an already existing flashlight. But actually, as once more, I use the one that is in current map, not the one that is in miniature library, to avoid this to have some errors, okay? Now, for this one, you can keep the attribute in whatever you want, and don't put any skin on it, okay? So remember that we are going to use the flashlight later to actually create a flashlight system. So we already have the store, the dev item, the credits. Now, if you remember the last class, in the inventory, the players are going to have another important item. This item allows the players to fix the generators. So the other thing that we are going to create is the wrench, okay? So just hit again once more, create, add a new one, create, and select a misc item for the base of this. The name is going to be wrench, and you are going to hit click to repair generators. An important thing about this is that by default, we already have on here the icon for the wrench. And remember also that this has been fixed, so now you will be able to select the different items on here, okay? But very important, guys, select the wrench, and with that, again, just the information is going to be the same. Just put one in the hand, and the skills, no skills for it, because we are going to use that object later. Okay, so right now we have the flashlight, the Grinch, and the store items. Okay, now let me explain what we are going to do. Okay, we are going to have another item, and it's a very important item here. That is the item that allows you to use the skill for the monster that is being called, in my case, overhaul. And what it allows you to do is, when you use it, the monsters are going to just do a random excursion for all the players, and also the players are going to have some arrows around their area, so the monster will know for 7 seconds where are located the players. Okay, so for using this system, we need to create another object, and let me show you very quickly in the screen. Of course, you are not going to see the arrows because we are not in multiplayer, but we need the base item for this. Okay, so as an example, if I'm this monster, I need you to check my inventory. So if you check my inventory, we have first a weapon for any kind of monster, then the skill that I mentioned, that is the other screen, and then another skill. Okay, so the first one that we are going to create for the monster is the skill that allows you to see the other players, and then we are going to create just a model for the gun. Remember, you can personalize this as much as you want it. I'm just going to show you the basics. Okay, now let's move here and create this one. Okay, so for creating overglow, you are going to use the same technique. You are going to create a random item. Okay, sorry, a misc item, just like the way you create the coin and the others. But very important on this, you are going to add another buff, and the buff is going to be for 3 seconds. For now, just create any buff. It could be your whatever buff you have. Is just important to have the ability. Okay, so the buff is going to be the same that you used to do for the buff. So I'm going to teach you how to create this buff later. Okay, but for now, just create the item, whatever item or icon you want. The description is the text nearby player location. If you want to check custom items, remember to check the previous classes. In the previous minicamp, I teach you how to change the models for the icons for the items by coding or by opening the game files. So remember that. If I'm not wrong, in the PvP map, we learned how to do that. Okay, and also in the previous one to that one. Okay, that is the natural disasters minicamp. Okay. So, what is important here? Once you have that item, we are going to start creating the other item monsters, okay? So, let me just explain something very important and very quick here. In my map, the monsters are going to have 3 different skills, okay? So first, you are going to have the normal gun. In my case, as an example, I'm going to use the monster fiend UE, okay? So the first one is going to be the weapon that the monster is going to have in the hand. In most of my monsters' case, the weapon is going to be visible because the players need to see something that they can scare about. And if you see a monster that has a big hammer in the hand, or it has a big weapon in the hand, you will be able to know that the monster is going to hurt you. But the most important part about this is that also these weapons are going to have a second skill, okay? So check this, the monster also is going to have a second skill. So in total, as our player is going to have 2 skills plus the weapon, plus the overhaul, it's going to have 4 skills. Remember, don't never create more than 4 skills because it's going to be very uncomfortable. The first one is going to be the weapon, and the second skill are going to be the same item, okay? So with click or with tap, you use the attack, and with using the second skill, you will be able to use the skill. The second one is going to be the overhaul, and the third one is going to be the second skill, okay? That's my methods, and I find out that probably not all the players know that they have that much skill. So if you want to create an item for each one of the skills, you can do also that, okay? So let me show you how I create the gun from zero, or the weapon. For create a weapon, you need to hit on add a new, create. Once more, you select a new, and you are going to select tools, okay? When you select tools, you are going to have the menu, okay? On the menu, again, once more, choose a name for your weapon. In my case, as an example, this one is Spider Fangs. The damage is going to be 10, and the skill, it's going to be noticed in the description. So remember, if you have an item that do damage or do whatever, just put the description and put the skill on it, okay? If you are going to create different items for the gun or for the weapon and the skill, do it because it could be better for some players, okay? Now for the attribute, if you hit here, if you don't select any kind of tool, like this one, it's going to be a weapon. If you select any other kind of tool, it's going to be personalized to break some specific blocks or things like that, okay? So the damage I placed for this one is 10. Remember to balance your monsters. In my case, the spider does less damage, but it has better mobility and better skills. So the cost attacking durability is set up to 1, the charge time to 0. In tools, remember to put nothing. The tool level, just move it to 5, and the efficiency buff to 0. The collecting cost durability 1. The durability just set up to 2000, and repair materials, you can use the same animals. If you are going to add a skill here, just hit on add skill and select whatever you want. In my case, what the spider does is just hit a spider web to just catch the players and bring them back to it, okay? Alright, yeah, the codes are already just in the chat. You have to scroll up a little bit of Raccoon Kangak, jealous. Now guys, now that you have that information about firsthand, now remember to create the other 2 skills, okay? So to create a skill, once more, you need to do just the same, okay? So remember, this is going to be per monster. So if you have 5 monsters, you need to create a weapon and skill number 2, or in case you don't want to use the weapon as a weapon and also as a skill, you create the other skill, okay? So create a weapon or the skill, just select MISC. Once you have created the MISC item, it's just the same information that we used before for hold. It's just to set up the attribute to 1, to change the name, and important to place a clear description and to put a skill on it, okay? So that's up for now. You already have all the basic items that we are going to have for the system items, okay? I mean, for the monsters and for the players. But also more important, we also are going to have some extra items that you can use in game, okay? So as an example, my player will be able to get, buy coins, to get medical bandage, and to get food rations. Food rations are going to increase the food meter, and the medical different items are going to heal the player. So how you can create those in MiniWorld? It's very easy, guys. You are going to hit here in add a new one. You are going to add a new one, and you are going to create once more, okay? But this time, when you are going to see this menu, you are going to select food, okay? So how it's going to work the food? Okay, let me show you first the first one that is going to be the food ration, okay? Food ration, I put a custom item on here and I put the description, okay? This is going to heal 50 of your hunger bar. And for doing this, when you choose food on here, you are going to see this specific menu. As I never have taught this before, I'm going to be very specific and I'm going to let you know which specific part means something, okay? So max number on the stack is going to be 99, so players will be able to accumulate as much as they want. The use time is the time that players needs to hold the item to use it, okay? So how you can use this? As an example, if you are having an item that heals the half of your life, you can use, as an example, 2 seconds. And if you have an item that heals it double, that means 100 all your life, you are going to have more time, okay? So at more heal, more time, so the item is going to heal more, but you need to take more time to use it, okay? The food meter is how many food is going to fill. The hunger resistance is how many hunger resistance is going to fill, of course. The stamina is a new option. If you are using the stamina meter, it is going to heal or recover stamina. And then we have the healed HP, okay? Healed HP is just how much life is going to help or feel. So in this case, as this is a food ration, on here, it's the information route, okay? So instead of this, it's supposed to add you the food meter. So that's a mistake I found out actually. So the food meter is going to fill to 500. That means that it's not going to heal stamina or heal, okay? And you can do the same. As an example, I always create more than one variation of an item. As an example, the food ration is going to heal just 15 of food. The other one that is super food ration is going to fill all your hunger. So in this case, once more, I need to change this and I just do it backwards because it was not right. And in attribute, so I also add two different food. I add the medical bandage that is going to heal, okay? Is going to heal your monster or your life in 25 and takes 1.5 seconds to use. And then I also have the full first aid kit. Once more, it's going to do the same. It's going to take the double of the time and it's going to heal the double of that, okay? So that's another item that you are going to be able to use. Now, very important guys, we already have the main items. Remember, I have more because I have 3 for monsters already. So just as I'm going to show you. For the monster fiend, we have the weapon here with the second skill. We have the order hole, that is the items that allows you to locate the pliers, and the other skill that is going to be the trap. That's why you are going to see a lot of items. For, as an example, the ghost, I got the ghost weapon, the main one, and also the second skill here. And also I have the clone that is going to be the second skill and the overhaul. And for the robot, I just got the same. I got the chainsaw, that is the big weapon, the androgun, this is the second weapon, and the overhaul. And for the spider, just the same. I got here the monster weapon that is going to be this shower. Also, I'm going to have the skill that is going to be to place a neck and the overhaul. Okay, so remember, you are going to create those items depending on your monster, okay? Now let's go to recipes. Why is it important to have recipes here? Because the store system, if you are going to copy my store system, use the toolbox to sell you those items. So if you see here, this is the recipe for the normal food ration, and what it's going to use is coins. So important things, on here you put the item that you want to get. On here, you put the item that actually is going to be used to just create this item. And in the category, you are going to select common, so it's going to be the first item that you are going to see. Okay? Now, you are going to create a recipe for each one of your items. Okay? So that's very important, guys. Create an item for each one. Okay? Now, for the smelting, you don't have to do anything, but here is the important things, guys, okay? We are going to create some important buffs here that are going to be used. Those buffs are going to be used for the game. So the first one, and this is very important, guys, do it just as I do it. The first item that we are going to create, or the first buff, or the first status, is going to be the capture one, okay? So what is going to do the capture? The capture one is something that is going to be added to the victims when they got captured. This will not allow the captured monsters to exit from the main room, okay? So you are going to create a buff from zero, okay? I know that sometimes it's a little bit funny the way I pronounce it, so I'm going to try to do my best to pronounce it better, okay? Just let me hit here, 1 second. All right, now we'll be able to see better your interaction, okay? So for create this specific buff or status, you are going to hit new, you are going to hit create, and you are going to hit create again, okay? Once more, that's the way you do it. I already have it here, so I'm going to show you the exact setup that I have here. So on here, you are going to put the name of your buff. In my case, this information is going to be seen by the players, so I'm going to put capture, okay? Once more, if you want to traduce or give a cool traduction for this one, just hit on here. And on here, you are going to have all the different languages. If you hit just in translate all, it's going to translate all after a while. But very important, guys, this probably is not the best traduction that you are going to get, but it's going to be better to then have any traduction here. Also, you can traduce the description. So if you have this with translation, most of the players will be able to know what is happening in your screen, okay? Not all players can have this option. Remember, that depends on your developer level, okay? Now, on here, you are going to see that it's going to allow you to choose an icon once more. I choose this icon for capture it, but you can use whatever icon you want it. As an example, in my case, an item that I really like to use for this kind, and probably it's going to be better, is going to be this one because it has a chains, okay? It talks or shows to the players that it's a negative buff because it's red, okay? For the special effect, I use Mark 41, so you can use the same one. For the effect, this is the important part. As you see, this has a lot of effects. The first one, you are going to add an effect that is vision brightness plus 100. So when the player is going to change the brightness, the player is going to notice that something is not working fine, okay? The basic speed is going to be reduced. So just hit on here and add basic speed. Remember that on here we have like different kind of speed, okay? So you are only going to change the basic to -70, okay? Remember, -70 is going to reduce the speed a lot. Another thing that we are going to use to avoid using more speed is to avoid the player to run. So with this new buff that we get in the last update, you are going to avoid the players to actually run. Then we are going to make the player invincible. And the most important one, you are going to add a new effect. The effect is going to be to change the mode. And on here, you are going to select the model for your victim. So in my case, remember, we create a victim, or we edit the chicken to be the victim. You are going to select that one. Be sure that back view is not activated because it's foggy and it makes all the players in the room to change the camera, and can use items when converting needs to be off. Now, for attribute, you are going to choose don't remove after that. So that means if the monster kills the actual victim, it's going to revert and it's going to still have the buff, okay? This is going to be the first one, guys. Now that you already know how to create the buffs, we are going to create the dummy one, okay? So remember, the dummy is the one that is going to be something that you don't do anything, is just going to allow us to use the item to detect it in triggers, okay? So just create a new buff from zero, select whatever icon you want it and whatever effect, but you are going to change this to dummy, okay? Don't put actually any special effect on it. And as you see, there is no effect for it. The only setup here is that it's a positive status. That's it, guys. Don't put anything else on here. Just save it. And I know that most of you already know how to create this one, okay? Now, guys, let's do the next thing and let me show you the important things that you need to create apart from this. So now you need to create another one, and those are going to be the most important. Of course, those are important because the previous one, because we are going to use it a lot, but we are going to create a couple that are going to be more important, okay? So we are going to create the overhaul. The overhaul is once again, just do the same that we do to create the other buffs, but this time you are going to change the name to overhaul. I advise you to use a custom item, and the particle effect that I use, that is particle 27. It looks very great for this kind of skill, okay? And the effect, it is not going to have any effect, okay? And it's going to be positive. We are going to use this for our overhaul system, okay? Now we already have 3 different buffs, guys. The buffs that we are going to have is dummy, that is a dummy skill that is not going to do anything, but will allow us to detect that in the system, the overhaul and the capture. Now, we need to edit some specific buffs, okay? The first one is going to be panic. And for these guys, notice once more that the frame is in white. That means that that is not a normal buff, it's an edited buff, okay? And why I did this? Because those are going to be system buffs that most of the players that are playing on mobile are not going to have the same options that we have on computer to detect or to know which one is the ID for that buff. So to avoid you to set up that, you are going to do this. So you need to do it exactly like I'm going to do it. So you are going to add a new one. You are going to, instead of hit created, you are going to hit edit. And the one that I use for actually do the panic is that I edit the buff or the status that is dicey 1, okay? Remember we have dicey 2, dicey 3, we are going to use dicey 1, okay? It's in neutral, the first one, okay? Once you hit on edit that one, you are going to change the name. On here you are going to have dicey, you are going to change it to panic, okay? Now, you are going to see here that I put it, you are scared. You are going to have a different here because it's the dicey one. Remember, we are just changing the information. I put a custom item and also an effect, okay? The effect is mark 45. Remember, on here you will have it, is mark 45, guys, right here, okay? And what it's going to do is to detect the players. So this is very important, guys. Remember, in the game there is a trick where the players are going to be scared and the illumination is going to change. What you have to do is on here add an effect and you are going to change the vision brightness. You are going to change it to -70, okay? That is going to make the player look like he's going to be scared, okay? And the attributes, just choose negative status and keep whatever is on there, okay? That's the first buff that we are going to edit. The second one, it's going to be the player and the monster, okay? So, the player, it's going to be edited too. For this one, you are going to just do the same. You are going to hit on add, you are going to hit on new, you are going to hit edit, but this time you are going to go to neutral. And in here you are going to see this, that is the one that makes you bigger, that I think is gigantic, or increase, yeah, and magnified is the name in English, and you are going to edit that one, okay? When you have it edited, you are going to remove the special effect and the sound effect, and you are going to change the name to player, okay? And effect, you are going to remove the effect, and you are going to add a new one. You are going to select vision brightness, and you are going to change the value to -35, okay? This is the buff that we are going to give the player when they burn, and it's going to be made by the system, okay? So you need to use the exact same buff that I use. So remember, you need to edit the unmagnified one, okay? And then we are going to create another one that is going to be the monster, okay? What is going to do the monster is going to give some specific features to the monster, so the monster is going to be more powerful than the players, okay? So just hit once more to edit, okay? For this one, we are going to edit once more. We are going to just hit on here, status, add one, add a new one, and you are going to hit edit, okay? For the monster, you are going to have on here two different ones. The one that we are going to use is virus, okay? So virus, intensify, and virus are going to be two different buffs. You are going to use the one that says only virus, okay? If you check my screen, it's going to be the one that is in the second row and the second column, okay? So it's going to be this one. You are going to use that one. Once you add it into the game, you are going to change the name from virus to monster. Once more in here, you can have any skin or any icon that you want for it, okay? Now, for the effect, you are going to change the vision brightness to 15, to plus 15. So you add an effect, vision brightness, and you change it to 15. That's going to make the monster see better than the pliers. Then you are going to add a new effect in special. There is one that says make invincible, so pliers won't be able to kill the monster, and as the monster needs to be a little bit slower than the pliers, so it's not going to catch the pliers that much fast, you are going to do another one that says make the plier basic speed to -10, okay? And that's it. Remember, it's the basic speed, okay? So that's the monster one, okay? Now, later we are going to create another couple, okay? But that's when we actually create the monsters. We are going to create a buff for each one of the monsters, okay? But I'm going to teach you that later. Now that you already have all the items, you need to hit enter the game. That's very important, guys, okay? If you don't hit enter the game, you won't be able to do what I'm going to do, okay? So bit head ups, when I do this, I always told you to do a warning signal. So now that you enter the game again, you are going to go to props, because right now we already have the buffs created for our objects. So we are going to go to the story one. In skills, we are going to edit the skill that we create, and we are going to change whatever buff we got on here, and we are going to change it for the dummy buff that we create at the beginning, okay? That's very important. We are going to do the same for, of course, the dev store, all right? And we are going to do another couple of things. So once you have the bot with that specific buff, we are going to go to overhaul. We are going to add a new skill. The skill is going to be buff. And we are going to select the buff that we create that is named overhaul, okay? The duration is going to be 3 seconds. With that, the animation is going to stand a little bit more, and the camera is going to get farther away from the monster for 3 seconds. The target is going to be no target, non-charge mode, and the cooldown is going to be 20 seconds. Why? Because the player will be able to see the pliers for 7 seconds, but we don't want to see all the time the pliers, because that's going to be unfair. The pliers cannot escape with that, okay? Once more, target team is going to be same team, single target, and that's it. Now, how to do is the torch system. Okay guys, so how it works, or how we can make the torch system. First, before starting, let me show you the example about the torch system and how it's going to work. Okay, so the torch system, it's going to do some specific cool things in our map, okay? Let me move very quickly to here, and from my inventory, I'm going to put, where is my, okay, it's right here. I'm going to put 2 specific items here. One that is going to give me the illumination that we normally got in game, and the second one that is going to allow me to use the actual torch, okay? Oh no. Okay, I missed this. I forgot to deactivate a script here that starts the game, and it's right here. Now I will be able to. Okay, now let's do this, and let me show you very quickly here. You see the story opens at the beginning, so I will have right here the first one that is going to give me the illumination, and the second one that is going to be the torch, okay? I think it's not working because I don't have a team where I'm assigned to. But what it's going to do in multiplayer is that the torch is going to illuminate the area where you are moving to, and it's going to create a small area where you can actually see what is happening in the map, okay? Let me go here and let me see why this is not working, okay? But look, how it works, how you can do to create this specific system, okay? The first one, let me teach you how it works. What it's going to do, the torch is going to save the location where you are, and on that area is going to create a light block, okay? When the light block is created, it's going to light the area, and when you move one block, that block is going to disappear and is going to create another, okay? So it's going to just be moving around and it's going to start creating some blocks or in the front or back to you. So you will light that area, okay? That's how it works. Of course, has some different things. As an example, if you select, you need to have the light in the hand, and also if you change your inventory or you select another item, it's going to turn off these specific lights. Sorry, I forgot the name in English, but the torch as an example, if you have a torch, or yeah, the flashlight in your hand, okay? So to create this, as always, we already have the basic objects, but we will need specific things here. So remember, guys, as always, and this page, this website is going to be in your inventory, okay? So sorry, in your inventory, no, in the description, okay? So in the description, you are going to find this specific website, okay? It changed a little bit because we got right now a lot of different systems, so I start creating some folders for it, okay? But it's just the same, all the basic items like the open store system that you see before, all the other text characters are going to be in normals. All the plugins now are going to be in plugins, as an example, how to create a mount. And also we have some tools like my command system and the get item and buff and block ID. If you are in cell phone, just copy and paste this. And will allow you to actually get the name or the location, whatever you want it for keep editing, okay? The important one is the one that we got right here. That is going to be Horror Escape. On there you are going to have all the systems if you want to start implementing. Of course, I'm going to teach you how to do it step by step here, okay? So we are going to copy the flashlight. Okay guys, as always, if your website is being traducted, as an example, and here in my example, it's being traducted to Chinese. Remember to just change that on the right and show the original content, or if you see here in this, there is an interface that allows you to copy all the code, okay? Very important, guys. Probably in cell phone you are going to see something here, a button that says show the text or show the code. You need to hit that to see all the code, okay? But as an example here, as you see that I press that button, I copy all the code in the original language, okay? So remember, it's easier just to copy here. Once you hit that specific button, once more I'm going to show which one, the one that I got here. Just hit and copy. And you are going to go to your screen. You are going to create a new script set and you are going to name it as a MiniCamp or basic scripts, okay? All right. So in new scripts, you are just going to paste the copy, or yeah, just paste the code that you copy, okay? So you are going to hit save, and if the game allows you to save, everything is okay, okay? If you get any error, as an example, right here, if you get any error, just try to copy it again, because you are just copying something wrong, you left a part, okay? So be sure that all the code is copied. And as always, on here, I have the setup, okay? So from the objects that we create before, we need to place two items here. Let me switch to this app because it's going to be bigger and you will be able to see better what I'm going to do. Just where it says flash torch block light block, it says that you need to place the light block ID, okay? But remember, it is the actual one that we create for the flashlight. So go ahead, go to blocks on here, and you are going to select your block, okay? So the flashlight block is this one that is going to be 204. Now on the second one we need to place the item for the torch, okay? the item in my case, it's going to be just in custom. If you scroll down, you are going to see custom, and the item is this one, is the flashlight, and that's it. That is already the setup, all the setup that you have to do for your torch. Remember guys, if you are not in computer, you are not going to have that menu, so the easiest thing that you have to do is just put this item in your inventory. This is the edit handed editor, and you put the actual block for the flashlight in any part, okay? So that's how you get the ID, very quick. Let me do the example here. So you put the ID here, and you use this, and it's going to tell you the ID of the block, okay? In case you are wondering or you want to get the ID. And for the items, guys, hi, welcome back. And now, as you see here, we also have another way, okay? So I teach you always this. If you don't have, if you have a cell phone, another thing that you can do actually is just, you are going to go to basics, you are going to go to dev tools or developer tools, and you are going to copy this script also, okay? You just copy and hit it, and you add it also right here. And what it's going to do, this script, you don't have to set up anything. What it's going to do is that it's going to implement by default another system into the game, okay? And the system that is going to implement will allow you to get the ID of the item that you have in the hand, will allow you to also see what buff you are getting buffed with. And another important thing about this is that it's going to teach you the block ID without having to use the editor tool, and it's going to teach you the position. So let me show you. If I hit a block here, if you see right here on the chat, it's going to tell me the block ID and where it's located. And if I got any kind of item in my hand, let me show you once more on here, it's going to tell me the ID of that specific item. And once more, some new feature that it has, because I see that a lot of you are getting that problem, is that if you get a buff, if you get something here that, as an example, you need to get the buff, or as an example, the number of your dummy buff is going to tell you. So if you see here, every time that I select an item, it's going to tell me that the hands item has an ID, and is the number that you need to put on there, okay? And also if I use the item, it's going to tell me the buff ID and the level, okay? It's just something that you can use if you're in cell phone, so it's going to be much easier to actually finish this, okay? So once you have the flashlight, it's congratulations, you already have the flashlight working. Now you need to test, but of course it's working if you change those numbers right, okay? Now the next thing and the last thing that we are going to learn for this minicamp, and let me put this code, guys, is the code, okay? The code is going to be for a Venetian mask, and it's going to be a permanent skill. So guys, remember to copy the code right here into the comments, okay? Now, guys, on this point, you have already your torch system working. Now we are going to continue with the last thing, okay? Very important, guys. This is going to have all the rules for your map. That means that just by copying this, you are going to have another escape game. The rules are going to be very easy. First, it's going to make the monster one if the time is up. It's going to make the monster one if all the players are actually captured, and it's going to make the players one if they left or they go away from the map, if they actually will be able to fix all the different generators. And also it's going to have all the rules. It's out to control. If the monster left, it's going to select another player as the monster. It's going to auto select the monster at the beginning, okay? So once more, the name is in YeyoScripts. It's in, YeyoScripts Horror Escape, and it's going to be the one that says escape or system. So what you are going to do is just hit on here once more. You are going to see this, you are going to see copy. That is the icon once more, this one. And it's going to copy all the code, okay? You need to search where is that icon in your cell phone, because of course I cannot show you that here. And also very important, before copy that, remember to rename your scripts. The first one that we copy is the flashlight. Now we are going to put the other. So just delete all the information under and copy the code here, okay? As always, guys, in my maps, on here you are going to have the setup section that says setup in green, and on here you are going to see the requirements, okay? So I'm going to switch once more to the full screen, and on this app, remember it's just the same that you are going to see in MiniWord with different colors. And also, if you want to see an editor very similar to this for Android, I already submit in the previous MiniCamp a class about how to edit on phone. And also you can see the links just in the description, okay? So it has some specific setups. The first one for the rules is if the monster won when it's time up, okay? So if you set up this as true, when the time is up, whatever time you want it to for your map, the monster is going to win. If you place it as false, it's going to check if the players complete the objectives, and it's going to make the players win. My advice, don't set up on anything, just keep it in true. Here we have also the jump scare system. So in the map, from time to time, where you are just in some specific point, you are going to hear random noise or random sound around your area. That means that probably you are going to be scared because you are going to feel that a monster is around you when actually it's not. So in here, you are going to place how many time it has to happen before you hear that sound, the minimum time and the maximum time, okay? The minimum time could the number or the time is going to be a random number in between those two. So it means that every 50 ticks is going to make a sound for a random player or any 15 seconds. My advice, don't change also this, just keep it like it is. Now guys, another important thing here is this, okay? And this is very important. Remember that I highly advise you to create at first the capture buff that is going to be in game. Let me show you very quickly here. This one, the buff that we create is the capture one, remember? Well, if you create it at first, you don't need to set up that. If you change that, you need to put the number here, okay? Very important, guys. Of course, the first one that you create is going to be this number. If you create a second, it's going to be the number 2 at the end, or like that, okay? But try to create that one first. If you just modify the monster buff at first, like as just tell you, it's going to be the same number. If you create a new buff, you need to change that. So as always, my advice, create just or modify the buffs just like I teach you before. And this is the same for the players. Is also the unmagnified buff. If you already changed that, you need to change this number for the actual buff, okay? As you see, this doesn't need most of the setups if you already follow the rules when I was teaching you how to do those specific items. And also you have a section, okay? In this section you can change the text that the player is going to receive if the player is playing. So as an example, the first one, and also remember this, after the two lines here, you are going to see the description about what it's going to do. On here, you need to place the name of your monster team for your map. In my case, as an example, I place monsters. If I were in Spanish, I will place monstruo. So you can change the language here. And very important, everything that you change in this section about text needs to be in between those two different notation marks, okay? That's very important. So survivors is going to be the name of the victims. Now on here, you are going to see that I already placed some text. As an example, the first one is the text help for the players. When the map starts, they are going to receive a message that says, capture all the players to win for the monsters, or in this case, hide and avoid to be killed by the monster, okay? Remember, the team one is going to be called here. Also, you have a text when you got captured or when the monster spawns, when a monster exits, or when you get captured or you won because you capture all the players, or where the players escape. Okay. So remember, that's are going to be the modifications you made. If you just do what I did before with the settings for the plugins, and you edit the way I edit, you don't need to change this, okay? But if you change anything, you can set up here just by copying, it's going to work. And now you can test, okay? Of course, I already have those items here, those scripts already created here. So you are going to rename the torch as a torch and the second one as an order system, okay? If everything is working fine, you will be able to save that, and just by hitting play, the first thing that you notice, if everything is working fine and you are in one player, is that you are going to die. And after you die, you are going to reborn in red team. That means that your system is working, okay?